Day 81 of the Young Thug YSL RICO trial was ridiculous. We get direct examination for 5 hours of the crime scene investigator who tagged all the bullet defects and shell casings. Then the owner of the barbershop testifies to the shooting and explains how he saw nothing but only heard the shots. First day back on this trial in over 10 days, and it was an absolute snooze fest. I mean, I get the state's trying to lay foundation for this crime scene of the Donovan Thomas murder, but wow, was it tedious. I'll try to edit it down and make it as interesting as possible. Hit subscribe. Here we go. First look at Thug on day 81. Got the spider hoodie on over top of the looks like dress shirt and tie. Interesting choice of style here today.
Your Honor, there's some demonstrative exhibits that the state judge showed us, and I will be objecting to cumulative. One is a crime scene sketch made by the gentleman who's testifying now, crime scene investigator Smith. It also is just a copy of his report blown up. That's how I perceive it. And then the second one is taking that report and putting it onto another demonstrative. I'm going to object. We have Mr. Williams as cumulative. Plus, we'll be testifying, and there are photographs. So we have 3 different mechanisms. So I'm objecting under 403, time, prejudice, fusion of issues, and plus it's just cumulative.
Okay, it's just a demonstrative aid?
Yes. That's what
Objection that's incorrect is that it's cumulative. These demonstrative aids are actually going to assist the jury, as you will hear through this witness, assist the jury in understanding his testimony, images of his report. But one such demonstrative is an aerial satellite view of that crime scene through a Google map, which will give more context and color to what it is that, in fact, they're looking at.
So the state made these big ass posters. Look at Brian Steele walked up and stood to the right over here. It sounds like they just made them over the past break and gave them to the defense literally today or in the past few days, and he's objecting to them. Judge isn't going to care. Like always, he's going to let him in.
And is that the numeric? I guess is he going to testify about those numbers that are on the Google Maps?
Yes, these are actually the crime scene markers.
Mr. Steele, I'll overrule your objection at this point in time, sir.
That's going to continue.
You certainly may.
I told you, immediately overruled by the judge. Here we go with the crime scene guy that's going to testify, I think, all day to just pictures of the crime scene. So there's the barbershop that Donovan Thomas was shot outside over here, this green building. He was somewhere in the parking lot, I believe, this Tahoe. So I imagine these yellow dots are markers they put down for shell casings or bullet holes or something.
I'm now turning your attention to the line that contains marker 22. What vehicle do you see that defect is assigned to?
Lincoln Navigator. Again, this is another overall photograph of 330 McDaniel Street with the Tahoe and the Navigator.
Can you tell the jury if you see any cameras at the top of that building?
I think there may be one.
I would imagine that camera didn't work.
I mean, the back window is all broken out. This is something we noted appears to be what we call a defect from a bullet. That we marked as number 22, evidence marker number 22.
Oh, this is so fucking boring, dude. Let's move on. Let's go. Let's get to the real evidence. We get the crime scene already. I know they have to lay foundation and all that, but holy shit, man.
Are these bullet defects also on the Lincoln Navigator that we just looked at in the prior state's exhibit?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a close-up photo of that evidence that we collected with that. Again, just additional close-ups of the same evidence.
Additional close-ups of the same evidence. Yeah, this is getting tedious here. Why are we showing like 5 pictures of the same bullet hole, bro? I know they have to show everything and it's for the jury, but I'm sure the jury's like, all right, let's speed this up.
Before we do that, Mr. Brown, I have had a request for a comfort break, so can we do that? Ladies and gentlemen, let's take 10 minutes, okay? All right. All rise.
The judge doesn't even look happy about the comfort break this time. Maybe he doesn't have to jerk off this time.
Yeah, it's just some different angles, different perspectives of everything. 2 pieces of evidence that we wanted to collect or notate anyways, number 47 and number 46.
He's gone through every single bullet hole and said, is this on your demonstrative that we have over here, the diagram with all the numbers on it?
Anytime we get a cell phone on a crime scene, we normally collect it. We don't know who it belonged to or if it was somebody involved, one of the victims, or just unfortunate that somebody dropped it out of their pocket. We just need to identify where it came from. This is the back of the Tahoe with a bunch of evidence numbers on there that signify we believe are bullet defects on the back of the Tahoe. These are 2 separate weapons. The number 62 is a Glock handgun, and number 61 is a Kel-Tec.
Do you recall those items about if those weapons were loaded?
They had, obviously, I believe the Kel-Tec had a fairly full magazine, and I believe the Glock was loaded as well.
Were those items loaded?
Yes, they were.
And did you find any shell casings on the crime scene related to those particular firearms?
No, we did not.
So it's just the gun they found in one of the cars. I don't think they even clarified if it was Donovan Thomas's car or not. Here's bullet hole number 67, close up of bullet hole number 67. And look at this shit. Lit up this place. 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 76. 68 close-up, 69. Look at all these close-ups. Trying to show the jury they processed the crime scene extensively, but boy, is it boring. And this is taking up the entire day, dude. Like a whole day wasted on this. I feel like they could have wrapped this up in like an hour if they didn't show all the close-ups of each bullet hole. Here's the inside of the barbershop. The owner of the barbershop is going to testify in a little. That's going to get a little bit more interesting, hopefully.
Cartridge case of the same caliber.
Where the car pulled off as it was shooting by. Apparently it was Shannon Stillwell, one of the shooters, one of the people in the courtroom. Remember that? All right, now that we're through that 4.5 hours of absolute snooze fest, showing the jury they, you know, marked everything at the crime scene and tagged everything. Max Schardt up for cross-examination. Should be quick.
All right, Mr. Schardt, cross.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. May it please the court. Investigator Smith,
Good afternoon. My name is Max Schardt. I represent Shannon Stillwell. What time did you arrive at 330 McDaniel Street? I don't recall the specific time. I know it was during towards the end of my shift, and I worked 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. At the time, you were a homicide investigator, correct? That's correct. Even though you were a homicide investigator in this case, you were not assigned this case. You were not the lead investigator, correct? That is correct. Okay, and that was Investigator Thorpe, correct? Correct. Thorpe. Yes. Was he present at the scene when you arrived? No, he was not. There was, like I said, crime scene tech Stewart was there. There might have been another tech there as well assisting, but if it's so, I don't recall what their name might have been. 2 handguns that appear to be on a leather car seat. Do you recall? Yes. Okay. Just for clarification, what car or truck were those?
Okay, I thought I was like being dumb or something. They actually didn't clarify which car those were in. Like what? Why wouldn't you tell us which car that you found guns in?
Guns found. That was in the green Tahoe.
Oh, because it's the victim's car, of course. That explains that, right? They knew the defense was going to point that out. There's no way they were trying to like sweep that past the jury, right?
Who located those weapons? Was it you or someone under your direction? I'm not exactly sure. When I went over the vehicle, I saw them sitting there. They were there in the vehicle when I got there. I don't remember specifically if they were under a seat or all I know is they were sitting in the front seat.
This guy just testified for 4.5 hours, right? And he remembered everything. The state asked him a shit ton of questions. He remembered tagging everything, anything, but he doesn't know who found the guns first in that car. How do you not know which one of you crime scene people out there found the guns first?
I don't know specifically if they were left there or if they were found somewhere else and put there. I can't specifically say. Is it possible that other law enforcement found them in a certain location in the car and then moved them onto the seat? Is that what you're saying?
Max Sharp's just trying to poke holes in all this. It's so funny when lawyers do that.
You're the first person to see those weapons in that car. I don't know if I was the first person. I know that I saw them. Do you know if those weapons were moved in the car by someone under your direction?
I guess he's trying to get in the jury's head that they could be planted or moved from a different area and just casting doubt for the jury. Is it working? We don't know, but...
Were you involved in the collection of video from the barbershop in this case? No. Okay. Did you, as an investigator in this case, ever walk up and down Hills Avenue to search for any cameras? I did not know. Canvass that area and look for any video cameras? That was not my function that day, no. Okay, so you did not, to your knowledge, anyone under your direction did that? I don't know. You might have to ask Investigator Thorpe that one. Okay. Take it upon yourself to locate or find the locations of the nearby flock cameras or LPR cameras. 2010, I'm not even sure the Atlanta Police Department had them. Okay. I did not, that was not my function, but from what I can recall, those didn't come into our use for quite some years. Okay, we're talking about 2000.
LPRs weren't really a thing since 2014, I think.
I'm sorry, yeah, 2015. Even then, I'm not sure what was down there that day.
I have a few questions about the drone video. Did you take that drone video?
No.
Do you know when that drone video was taken?
I do not.
When you observed that drone video, the scenery in that video, is that the same as it was at the time of this incident in 2015?
No.
What are the differences that you saw?
Well, there's leaves on the trees. Only leaves in January. I think there were some additional apartment buildings that were constructed between here and there, but for the most part, that area between McDaniel and Northside and Peter Street hasn't really changed over the years, and that was the same.
As far as you know, in your personal knowledge, does Hills Avenue have anything to do with this incident?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I said, I focused on McDaniel Street.
So Weinstein's pointing out this drone footage they showed earlier, very sloppy and boring, and I kind of skipped past it, but here, I'll show you it real quick. It's showing like a huge area that's like kind of irrelevant to everything. Like, look how big of an area they're showing right now. When this is a shooting out front of a barber shop. Like, what are we doing here? This doesn't help anything at all. Look at how big of an area they're showing. This is massive. So Mr. Weinstein just pointed out that shit was pointless, essentially.
To me, that was the best way to describe it. It was just an oversized, it looks like an oversized pistol to me, not a full length, like AR type military or police type firearm like an AK-47. It looks like a large pistol.
Let's talk about functionality on that Kel-Tec. Have you ever fired the weapon before, the Kel-Tec?
No.
Do you know much about the functionality of Kel-Tec weapons?
I do not.
Okay.
The lawyer's just pointing out that he described it as a big pistol when he really doesn't know anything about the weapon and he's never used it, but just looks big. I don't think that's too bad for him to say that.
Did you do any type of background on these particular firearms to determine whether or not they were stolen?
I did not.
Okay. Whose job or function would that have been?
I can't say for certain, but if I was a lead investigator, I would do that or ask somebody else to do it for me.
Would you have been concerned about whether or not either of those handguns were stolen?
I'm concerned with every handgun we recovered if it's stolen.
Okay.
Yes, if I have a cell phone, I'd like to extract whatever data I can off the phone.
Do you know if that was done in this case?
Again, I can't speak to that as I did not do it. I was not asked to do that. The lead investigator would take that upon himself in most cases.
Whether or not you can recover touch DNA from shell casings?
It's a possibility, yes.
Do you know if any of that was done in this case?
I do not know, as I was not the lead detective.
So lawyers are trying to find holes in this investigation, but he wasn't really the guy even tasked to do any of that, but we're gonna have to grill the detectives for a lot of this.
Other than collecting all of this, placing these placards down, doing the measurements, and telling
Where's Miss Love at? Where's her tall ass at? She not here today.
this jury where things were located, was that essentially your role in this case?
Yes, it was.
State's redirect here.
Did you have any other involvement in this case?
No, I did not.
Were you reassigned from being crime scene investigators to being lead investigator?
No, I was not.
What are your duties as a crime scene investigator?
That's standing objection.
Were you required to go get crime scene surveillance footage?
I was not. My only involvement was doing the crime scene. I didn't have any direct involvement with doing the full investigation, as I had my own cases to work.
You were just asked if you performed the task that you were supposed to handle that day. Who determined what you were supposed to handle?
And I volunteered for it to do the crime scene.
So who determined what you were supposed to handle?
I did.
Okay. You made that
As far as the crime scene goes, as far as the rest of the investigation, I can't speak on that part, but I worked with our crime scene tech to determine what we needed to collect for evidence and categorize.
Okay. You've written reports about neighborhood canvases and searching for cameras in other cases, correct?
That's standing objection.
To look for cameras. When you said you were not required, what did you mean by that?
Again, it wasn't my function for that particular day. It was to gather and collect and categorize the evidence that was there.
Detective Thorpe never specifically asked you to look for cameras, did he?
Not that I recall.
But here's the barbershop owner right here.
And what part of the city is your barbershop?
Atlanta.
Is your barbershop on McDaniel Street?
Yes.
How did you first learn something happened?
What you mean?
Like what, did you see something, hear something? How did you know?
Oh, I just heard something.
And what did you hear?
Like some firecrackers.
When you first heard firecrackers, did you hear it sound like one firecracker or multiple?
Like multiple.
Oh, so he was inside and didn't really see anything. He just heard it, is what I'm getting so far.
Somebody shooting. I mean, out there playing around with some firecrackers at first.
What made you change thinking initially it was firecrackers?
Because everybody started running outside.
What did you do? Did you run?
Yes. I mean, I ain't run. I just laid got down on the shop.
When you first heard it, were you in the spot of your barbershop that we talked about on the way back?
Yes.
Was there other people in your shop when you heard it?
Sure.
And did you all run towards the back of your shop?
Yes. Well, we all got on the floor in my shop.
Yeah, police over here on the north side of McDaniel.
North side of McDaniel. Why did you say?
Yeah. Harold Limited Barbershop. Somebody don't got shot.
Ms. Parker, was that you on that call?
Yes, they do sound like me. Yeah. No, it was just chaotic. Everybody just on the floor.
Ms. Parker, do you know whose car that is parked in front of your shop?
Yeah, my dad. They couldn't fix it, I don't think.
Did your dad ever drive that car again?
No.
When you look at those surveillance cameras, is it fair to say you told me and investigator Deputy Chief Long?
I'm going to check the state ground.
So,
Standing objection.
Ms. Parker, have you seen that before?
Sure.
And when I met you, was it at your barbershop?
Sure.
After showing you those videos, did you recognize them?
I don't remember.
I showed them to you and you recognized them as your barbershop surveillance videos?
Humble objection.
You may answer, sir.
I don't recall.
You and me, did I show you something on the disc outside the hall?
Sure.
Did I show you 4 videos that were on that disc?
Sure.
And after I showed you those 4 videos, did you recognize them?
I don't recall.
Do you remember stating that you recognized them as your surveillance videos from your shop?
No.
The surveillance videos, did they depict your barbershop and the surrounding areas?
I don't remember.
Do you currently have surveillance videos on your shop today?
Sure.
Do you have more or less surveillance cameras around your shop than you did back on January 10th?
That's standing objection.
You're older than the photograph that you looked at?
Yeah, now.
Oh, you're
2015.
looking better now? Is that it?
No.
No harm. If that's what you want to go with.
Yeah. Sure.
It's one of your surveillance videos that you have in your shop.
Sure.
And is your barbershop what we were talking about? Basically, are you standing at where your chair would be?
Sure.
You see how there's someone sitting behind him with gray sweatpants?
Yes.
Is that your father's?
Sure.
Is that his chair?
Sure.
And that's your front door in the very back of this? Is that
Sure.
right? Now, Mr. Parker, do you recall giving any members of the Atlanta Police Department surveillance video back in 2015, sometime after when Peanut was killed?
Did I what now?
Do you remember ever getting, at some point after Nut was killed, surveillance video from your shop?
No, I don't remember.
Doesn't remember giving them surveillance video. How? Someone gets killed in your parking lot. You don't remember giving detectives surveillance video? Is he trying to make it look like he's not like snitching and didn't talk to them at all?
Did any of your windows, do you remember ever having to fix any of your windows after the shooting?
Sure.
Do you remember which of these 2 you had fixed? Like, would it have been this one or this one?
It'll be that one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Doug's lawyer Keith Adams up for cross. It's been a while since we saw Keith, and he's really good at cross. So
There was a game on.
Sure.
All right, but there were people. It was a regular evening where things were going on there in the barbershop.
Sure.
Right. In terms of what you saw, first you heard what sounded like firecrackers.
Correct.
You thought someone was outside playing with some firecrackers or something like that.
Exactly.
All right. But then I think I heard you say that you started to see people running.
Right.
Now, was that outside that you kind of saw some movement, people running, or were we talking about inside the store?
Outside and then inside.
Okay. You didn't see what was going on. You
Yeah.
heard the noise.
Yeah.
You saw the people running.
Correct.
And I think I heard you say that you hit the ground.
Exactly.
Okay. Other people inside kind of hit the ground as well.
Yeah, took over.
Did you ever go outside when, I presume things kind of subsided after a while. You stopped hearing any firecrackers or shots or anything like that?
Yes.
You didn't go outside?
No.
Okay. It is fair to say that you heard your voice on that 911 tape.
Sure.
Short, you called the police, and I think I heard you say, look, send the police, somebody done got shot.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you didn't actually see anyone.
Yeah, they ran in the shop saying somebody got shot.
That's what people inside were saying?
No, there were people from the outside running in my shop trying to take cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you're not in a position to really say to the jury or tell us really what's going on outside, just that there's shots and there's some commotion out there.
Right.
Keith Adams is pointing out that he didn't see anything. He just, heard people screaming and a lot of commotion, hectic, and then people ran in saying someone was shot outside.
You wouldn't be in a position to describe any vehicles that were outside at the time?
No.
How many vehicles were outside at the time?
No.
How many people were around the parking lot or the area outside? You don't know that from what you said.
Correct.
You remember them coming into school, any police officers, detectives, anyone like that, and talking to you specifically?
Now they came and talked to my dad.
Okay. but not you.
Well, they spoke with me.
I'm gonna guess that you really didn't have much to tell them other than what you just testified to.
Sure.
Were they talking to your dad about getting the footage from the video camera?
Sure.
Or were they talking to you?
My dad.
Your dad. Right. Sounds like your dad was really the one who was kind of interacting with the cops the most.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning we're going to start at 12:30 for an anticipated 1 o'clock start time.
Why are we starting so late every day?
You live near there, right? So you can't help the way that you, or can you vary your route to avoid that?
No.
Okay. So, and that's what we want to make sure. There's nothing we can do about that. But remember not to share anything. Don't take any pictures.
I know.
Don't talk with your colleagues in the back about that particular location. Have you shared anything with them thus far?
No.
Okay. You're not going to do that, right?
No.
Okay. All right.
This lady, one of the jury stayed back because she lives right around the barbershop. What are the odds of that? Think about how big Atlanta is. Or is Atlanta big? I've only been to the airport like 5 times. I've never been outside of the airport, but Atlanta is the largest metropolitan area in the U.S. Census Bureau's Southeast region.
Concerning Mr. Wise, I spoke with him with District Attorney Hilton. He also said to me, I don't have any information. There's nothing that I know or saw, etc. I put it into writing in a motion because if the state's calling him, then I assume that that's an inconsistency. Tells me with the DA that he has nothing. I have nothing to say about the issue of the case, but nothing of relevance. But yet he's being called. So I'd like to know or have a statement or a memo or why he's being called, because that would be an inconsistent statement. He said he has no relevant information, and he's being called as a witness. So I think that is great evidence. I'd like to know about it today.
Mr. Wise was at the barbershop where Mr. Thomas was getting his haircut, and where Mr. Thomas, I believe, paid for other persons to get their haircut. This is all in the record. It's previously provided to Mr. Still on the record. He provides sort of a...
He being Mr. Wise provides...
Correct. Provides relevant background information that preceded the shooting. We are not asking Mr. Wise, because to our knowledge, Mr. Wise has never informed us, never informed anybody that he saw who did the shooting. He's not here to talk about what kind of car they were in. He's not here to talk about what anybody was wearing that was doing the shooting. He's here to give the background information we previously provided on the record.
So what was going on in the barbershop at that time?
Correct.
All right. And Mr. Steele, it would probably be relevant. Even though he might have told you he didn't know anything. You know, witnesses often sometimes say that, but...
I mean, it's just going to be another wasted day. So yeah, congrats, Judge and Miss Love. You're bringing in a guy that was in the barbershop who's probably going to say he doesn't know shit for a good hour or two in the stand. So congratulations, Miss Love, right here with your Can I Talk to the Manager haircut. Hell of a case you put on. That's it for day 81. This shit's embarrassing. This day was pretty pointless. I'm gonna be honest. Even the owner of the barbershop didn't really provide anything, and the other dude just talked about tagging bullet holes and shell casings. Like, what? I get it. It's foundation, but god damn, we're 81 days into this bitch. Let's get it on, dude. Love you guys. Hit subscribe. Peace out, boys.